Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Muse Jester. My name is Junior. Today, we're gonna finally go ahead and review the two-pack Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Ned B and Purge Trooper. Now, this is the carbonized version, which I don't really. It's not one of the primary things which I bought. The reason why I bought this, right? So, but this just want to let you know. There's a side of it. And as I said in full disclosure, when I was doing the unboxing of the package of which this one came in, I have already opened this one. I wasn't gonna wait to review it, to open it. I needed to look at it really quickly and look at the figure for one reason, which I will disclose later on. So this has already been opened. Let me pull out the figures and we'll talk immediately about them. So here's one of them. This is the Purge Trooper from the Mandalorian, no, from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and this is the Ned B. Now, this comes with some sort of hammer because I guess Ned B is a construction robot. And here's the hammer. So here's the hammer for Ned B, nicely detailed, nicely painted. You can even see some surface detail right here where he would be pounding this on something. I have to say though, this carbonized effect on something metallic like this is really cool. It does look very metallic. And here is the blaster over here. It's obviously it's painted with whatever that carbonized metallic painting is, but that's basically it. It's basically just one color throughout the whole gun. It is very nice detail and everything though. As for the blaster that comes with the Purge Trooper, here it is. I think this is just a regular blaster that stormtroopers have, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, the same way, it's just one monotone color, whatever that carbonized paint job that they are referring to, that's what it has. So we'll look at Ned B first. There's really not much to say. It's nice to have one representation of it. Of course, this particular droid did play a little bit of a role in the Kenobi series when in the end he was defending, what's the girl's name, Tala, and those refugees from the stormtroopers. As it's a big chunk of plastic. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, the design is good, and as you can see, the weathering is really well as well. It's good too. You can see some pitting going on in the surface of the armor, which is good. It shows age to the armor over here as well. That's pretty good attention to detail. As you can see, it's nice and smooth here. So it's just on the chest that they did that surfacing. This is a separate piece. This is a separate piece that you plug in, and then there's these two hoses that you plug into the side. So that's kind of cool that they did that. In terms of articulation, there's not much articulation on the head going up. Maybe a little bit more, but it's more of a wiggle than anything else. The same thing with here. I would say the true articulation is just a side to side on the head. As for the shoulder, yes, it does have butterfly joints, as you can see, and obviously this will twist up and down all around. There is no bicep swivel, it's more of an elbow swivel. Also here as well, as you can see. As for the wrist goes in and out and off to the side as like that. The joint here on the chest, it gives you all kinds of range, wiggly woggly, and there is no waist cut, so all the movement is through here. As for moving forward, there's some sort of resistance on mine, so it's there, but it won't hold it. Same thing in the back. It's barely there because of the backpack, so I would say no backward articulation. As for the hip joint, it can go up to there while still moving forward. You can probably kick it up a little bit more. As you see, the leg is now more towards off to the side. There is no drop down joint on the hips. There is a swivel inside the cavity of the thigh, and there's a turn at the knee on the top, and there's also a turn at the knee joint at the bottom. It's only a single joint, but it doesn't really matter if it's double jointed or not because the sculpture of the armor will prevent it anyway. So I would say that's a 90-degree turn. There is no turn on the top joint, but there is a ankle rocker here. Moving up on the heel, the ankle goes up that high, and pretty much good enough range that you can need going down. Very nice details on the hands. The hands obviously are not articulated, but it does hold the weapons fairly well. I think I had him holding the hammer using this hand, and then the blaster on this hand. It had to be that way because it's kind of weird. As you can see, because his hands are big and kind of splayed weirdly, you can't really put this on the trigger. So I don't know if I'm using the wrong hands improperly, because he really can't hold onto this. So maybe this is for the hammer, and then this one's for the gun. Let me see. See that the fingers are just way too big for the trigger to go in that way, but maybe at least with this one, you can kind of squeeze it in between fingers. Maybe, but you know, it's kind of, the hammer's kind of loose on this hand if you do it this way. It's just kind of like a weirdly positioned fingers on the arms. But yeah, that's for, what's the name of this guy again? Ned B. So now we go on to the Purge Trooper. This is the reason why I bought this entire package and why I had to open it up first. This is the first time I've encountered this Purge Trooper design. I did see the Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I don't know exactly what scene he was in. He went by so quickly. I've heard that it was a very, very short-lived scene. So that one guy that I met on Facebook was talking about the Purge Trooper, and since this one was the most recent iteration, I thought he was talking about this one. But this one actually came in on the Hot Toys version 2 years ago, while the other Purge Trooper from the games and from the clone era was released 6 months ago. So he was actually referring to that one, not this. However, I should, you know what? Let me go through the features really quick, and I'll talk about that. So here's the detail on the helmet, which I love. I really do. Very evocative of the original Stormtrooper design, yet this is more flared out, and the gills here, or whatever you call them, is more angular. This feels almost like a Pharaoh's helmet, the way it's designed, but it very much has all the Stormtrooper characteristics that we're aware of. Here's the trooper body armor. This is not wired or any way, it just does that. Very sleek. It's all black, although of course it's carbonized, so it's doing a well enough job creating that shiny look. I do prefer my Stormtroopers to have shiny armor rather than battle damaged armor. That's just the way I've always seen the Imperial Troopers. Maybe for the clone armor, it makes sense for them to be dirty, but when it came to the Imperial Stormtroopers, I've always seen them as shiny and brand new and clean and everything like that. So I definitely love this design. Now, as for articulation, of course, I don't know if you can pop off this head, but turn around off to the side. It's got a nice gap from the peg to the helmet, so it's able to move a little bit better on the head. There's going down. I'm kind of disappointed with the elbow because, as you can see, even though it's kind of um, attached here, it allows you to. Oh, well, actually, it's pretty good. It just bunches up, so that's pretty good right there. And wow, surprisingly, there is no bicep swivel. That's new, huh? The swivel is coming from the elbow, the top of the elbow, and it's got a separate piece for the elbow armor. Interesting. It is not double jointed on the elbow. So the range is only, I'm going to say, 90 degrees. There is, again, the same uh, ball peg articulation on the top of this um, stomach. So you can do all that range. Again, there's nothing on the waist. It's very, very similar design to the articulation of Ned B. No drop down on the hip joint. Straight on, your leg will only go this high. But if you really twist it like so, then you can get the full 90 and a little bit more. And I suppose if you really want to kind of fix that, you can turn the armor this way because it does have that. Again, this is a single joint again, it looks like, but because of the way they designed the joint, it can go much, much higher than 90 degrees. Um, there is, again, a thigh swivel inside the cavity over there. This, again, is on a separate, looks like it's a separate armor, but it's not. It's actually glued in at the front. In terms of the ankle, can go up pretty high. Now let's see how it goes down. Pretty good considering the design of this armor. And of course the ankle rocker. Now that we've covered that, let's go and compare this to an actual Purge Trooper, the original design. So this is the original design of the Purge Trooper. And apparently the Star Wars community loves this design. I first saw this particular design of the Purge Trooper in the 3.75 as I was collecting that. As you know, I'm not really very versed in Star Wars armor. I don't go into detail like that. My connection to it is kind of like from the movies and everything. So, and from the animation and everything. So seeing this for the first time, I believe this was revealed in the gaming platform. I was never a big fan of the design of this helmet. I know it's very reminiscent of the Stormtrooper, but it just seemed awkward. Yeah, it seems like a good transition from the Clone Wars armor to what we know as the Stormtrooper from the New Hope. But I don't know why, but this just seems so clunky for me. Maybe it's because even though it represents these gills from the original Stormtrooper helmet from the New Hope, the angular cuts here rather than having the bold, um, what would you call that? More curvy design transition here really um, jars me. So let me see if I can pick up a few comparisons. Okay, I apologize. These are the only armor that I have of the clone armor helmet. So as you can see, if I remember correctly, this is pretty much representative of how these mandibles are curved here. And from here to here, it still has that curved look, right? So you can see a nice before and after look. This thing is just so jarring. The angular curves are gone on this one. So I'm not really a big fan of that. However, from here to here, comparatively wise, in comparison, look at how they differentiated the design. So it's no longer a tiered angular design like this one. It's basically a straight angle going down, which I love much better. And even in the Hot Toys version, I don't know why they went lighted on this one and not lighted on that one. And the light on this one, the visor on this one is not brightly painted, so you need to have the lights on to have this type of effect. And yet the batteries die down really quickly, so by the time the batteries are dead or if they're off, this is exactly the same look you would see where you barely see the visor or the visor in there. While this one is nicely bright and red, much more menacing to look at. Even though it has a red here, and this one has just have it here on the gills, this is much better for me. So, and then the armor on this one is much more crispier, almost the same design as you can see. I'm not sure if any of them is borrowed. It sort of kind of looks like it, but no. The knee pads here straight on, while this one has an angle and then slant. Maybe the thighs were as you can see, this one has the pins, this one does not have the pins. This is double jointed, this is single jointed, so nice separation. I really like this one. Okay, so here's the thing, why did I open this so quickly? I apologize that this is showing on February 22nd. I'm shooting this on February 18th. As of February 18th, this thing is still on sale. This 2-pack is on sale for $22 or $22.98, whatever. I believe the actual retail price when it was released was around $49. That's usually the case of 2-packs when it comes to Star Wars Hasbro. $49.95 being there's 2 figures. Each figure is usually around $25. This is currently on $22. It was the marked down to $29. It's on sale right now for $22. So the regular markdown price right now is $29.95, and then with the sale on it's $22.95. The reason why I had to open it up is I needed to verify that I was gonna like this figure. Initially in the photos I liked it, especially since it was on sale. But now that I opened it, I had to open it and see for myself that I really did like it. And the reason for that is I wanted to buy more of this, right? So I kind of waited, and here's the empty box. Here's an unopened box, a second, a third, and a fourth. So this alone is over $110, $115. This 5 figures. Value wise, let's talk about value and pricing. Of course, my value and pricing is gonna differ completely from you guys. If you had purchased this on resale at $49.95, I bought it at $22.95. I will be basing my price to value rating in that. So base price of 10 equaling $22.95 for 2 figures. What is the value? Potentially this has an extremely high value, because if you think about it, $22.95 for 2 figures basically means that each one is probably gonna sit you at around $11.50 each. $11.50 each for a troop builder. So if I were to think of it that way, then yes, it is extremely high, maybe 18 to 20 value. But I only need one of this to represent this in my lineup. What am I going to do with 4 others Ned B? I suppose to capitalize on the full value of what this 2-pack offers, I can customize this and turn it into some sort of Imperial Guard setup by painting it. Or I can sell it off, but I don't sell stuff. I usually keep my stuff with me. So I now have five of these. I only need one, but I have five of this. So if I were to think about it, and the reason why I'm thinking about it is five. I'm gonna once I open those packages up and I line them up with my figures, I'm gonna see if five is enough because I feel like I want to get another five, which is gonna be another $115, $120, which is kind of, it's not really that bad, but I keep putting it off, but I do need to talk about like what do you want. If I'm at that point where when I'm spending $100, I'm wondering if I'm getting the value that I want. And normally I it wouldn't matter to me $100. This type of dilemma would only occur if I'm spending $500 to $1,000 on something. Like for example, when I purchased the 4-foot Metroplex for $1,000. It's or the Darth Vader full size cosplay. It's something that daunts or something that's a big value purchase. But for this one, right now, $100, I have to be careful because I'm buying a lot, so it adds up quite a bit. So it's not like I'm buying one lot of 100 in 3 months. It seems like I need to control myself because it seems like I'm spending $100 very, very easily within 2 days. Sometimes 200 in 2 days, which I'm trying to cut off right now because my primary goal right now is to pay off the credit card first and clean off the slate really quickly. So this is a really, really good figure though. The value for me for this one is obviously 15 because when I opened this up, I almost didn't hesitate to get 4 more. And I was in a hurry because I wanted to make sure I have the option to buy more of this while the sale is on. I would prefer to buy it at $22.95 rather than $29.95 or when it runs out of stock. I did look online on eBay to see what pricing is going on this one. As a sealed 2-pack, people are selling it for $29. Some people are selling it for $22 in competition with Amazon. It is on sale on Amazon, by the way. By itself, I've seen it because this was released by itself on a Black Series without the NEDP, and they're selling for like $40 to $25, and which doesn't make sense. Why would I pay for something like that if I can get one for $22? But $22 comes with the second figure. Technically, this is, if I think about it, it's only $11.50 to get this right now, and it's such a good deal to get multiples of it right now if I'm thinking of it that way rather than the full $22. Am I making sense? I kind of am, but at the same time, in the end, however I rationalize what the full pricing of this is while I include this one, in the end, I would still be spending $100 more than what I would want. However, I just feel like this is such a command. This face is what really, really makes this stand out. It's just weird. I don't know why. The face and the coloring, like comparing it to this one and this regular Stormtrooper and the Purge Trooper. Look at that. This is also a black and red figure, which is just fine with this one. Almost seems like the white is actually not what I want to see. The pureness of the black and red is much better for me. Same armor, it's almost the same armor design. Not a lot of difference. It's just the head on this one is just so cool. So value, we'll start off with 15. Definitely 15 value. Base price of 10 equaling to 22.95 for two figures. The value in this one, if I were to value this separately, the value in this one, it doesn't make sense. It would be like -9, not -9. It would be at 9, 10 or 9 as I get more and more of it, because I don't want more than one, maybe two, but I don't want 5 or 10 of these. So the value in this one is really dragging this one. So separately, the value in this one starts to degrade. Why am I paying $11.95 for something I don't want? You know, for a figure that I don't want, that I want to true build, I don't want to pay $11.95. I want to pay $7, $6 each. If somebody were to offer this on eBay for 10 of them, for $60 for the whole lot, then I would maybe buy it, because it will be like $6 each. That's what I would think of in this one. So this is almost like, if I think about this, the other way I can think about this is that the $22 is singularly placed on this figure. So I'm paying $22 for this figure, if it's worth it or not. It was worth it for me to get 5, but is it worth it to get 10? And then I just think of it, this one, as free. I got that for free, and this is $22. There are several ways to think about this particular dilemma. In the end, I will unbox it, I will line them up, and I will see if this is truly commanding such a great presence that I would want an additional set of 5 to make 10. Or 2 rows of 5. That's it for my review. I hope that kind of makes sense. This is kind of interesting that it falls onto that particular category. I've never really come across it. That's why I wanted to show it. And again, I apologize that there is a 3 to 4 day difference of when I'm shooting this to when it is coming out. And I apologize if the sale is no longer on the 22nd, but there it is. That's the way it's scheduled, and I can't fudge it a lot more than that, because then I'd have to fudge the other ones before, and that's just too much fudging around. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon, and I'll be unboxing a bunch more stuff that came in that I purchased, and I'll see you. Bye.